Okay. Never stop and go until I die, yo. Here we go. Now, the previous commits, we have pages working, but what did I do? I don't remember what we did last. Spells had cooldowns. I think that was it. I've done a lot of shit. A lot. Okay, so, and I also made it in the last video so that you could see 2 players and the visuals were working. Okay, so what I did after was, fuck, what did I do? I have pages that you can pick up now and they add to the book and they have unique cooldowns and I had to change a bunch of stuff. I mean, I think that was it, alright? There's some stuff I had to fix. I was packaging it to see if that would work and whatever. So right now, there's an issue that I'm kind of stuck with. Whenever you cast a spell for the first time and it goes to its cooldown, that cooldown texture is the first time the game ever sees it. So the shader can't be packaged like in advance. Like maybe it somehow will eventually work differently, but for now it'll be just slightly pixelated the first time you cast it, but never again. I can't find a way around it right now, so is what it is. I fixed some spells because Blink was casting. I don't want Blink to be like, if you say Blink, I don't want you to be stuck like zooming forward. Like if I'm here and there's a castle and there's a window I'm trying to teleport into and I say Blink, but I'm too far away, I don't want it to say, oh hey, I can't reach the castle, therefore get me as far as close to it as possible. No, I'd rather it just not do anything because otherwise it'll fuck me over. Like maybe, I mean, if you were a real wizard, you'd be able to specify that. But I prefer it only goes where you want when you actually want it to go there. It doesn't just fucking get you as close to, as possible, because then that's shit. Then I don't get where I want to go. There's a big cliff, and I say blink, but I'm too far, so it says okay, and then you fucking fall off the map. Like. It goes and it finds the floor and then teleports you there. That, I don't like that. So, it's one of the things I don't like in Mage Arena. So instead, it still only works like it already does, but the cooldown only triggers instead, anytime you say it, even if it doesn't do anything, to only when it works. So you can say blink, oh, you're too far away. You can get closer and then say it immediately and then still cast. You don't have to wait on the cooldown because that would be stupid. Just like, oh, and the other thing is for, same thing for well, actually no. In testicular torsion is not the case. If you say it, it's an attack that goes outward. Specifically, it only targets players, but you shouldn't be able to just I don't know, maybe I'll change that, but I have it for now. You say it, it goes and looks for a player and either works or there's nobody and it fades because you just used it. It's like zap in Dark and Darker. There's no visual part of it. I mean, maybe I add something like that, but there's no visual, so it goes out. Oh, fuck, I guess I should add a visual to it at some point, but you use it and that's it. There's no, oh, I used it, but I missed, and I get to keep saying it until I hit. No, you've already used it. It went out and saw a guy. I mean, really, it just goes straight forward. If it didn't hit a guy, you still used it, you gotta wait. Because it's kind of risky, I increase the damage. Doesn't matter. I mean, I can change any of these whenever I want, so who gives a fuck about the numbers? I'm not really like, oh, I changed it from 20 to 30. Who gives a shit? Okay. Also, recover. It was happening anytime you casted it, even if it wasn't healing you. Now, the logic is that we check to make sure that you're actually hurt before it is able to do that. So, hold. Here you go. We cast the spell, and in the logic, we check to see, hey, are you actually hurt? If you're not, it does nothing and doesn't call the cooldown. If you are hurt, it does all of its stuff and starts the cooldown. Cool. And also, the logic for all of the spell stuff passes in the spell index in the book, because I've now made it so that you can go into the game. I've added pages. Right now the player can spawn them, but the player shouldn't be able to. I mean, you won't, but if I break a crate or I kill an enemy or whatever, pages can spawn on the floor and you can pick them up. And I wanted to make sure that we can add them to your spell book, and then after I'm going to need to make it so you can drop them to teammates. So, pick up the page. These are all the spells we've got. Go to the very, very end. That's the last spell. If I pick this up, or am I too far away? Hello? Did it bug out again? What happened? I don't know why this is removing from its interface. Why is it doing this? It did this fucking earlier too. I don't understand why. Or, well, can I fucking convert it back? Hey bro, can we stop doing this? I don't understand why it's doing it. Okay. I was wondering what was happening. So, there's a spell on the ground. I can pick it up, and if we go to the final page, we now see it's not this, it's now this. And I could spawn more, pick up another, and now they're added to the book. We have 1, 2, 3, plus the first one. Okay, and each has an individual cooldown that I can show here really quick. Oops, forgot to change the keybinds. Okay, freeze, fireball. That's the little pixelation. Okay, but I can spawn one. I have 4 now. So, when you cast a spell, it'll cast the first version of the spell, the first copy, because that makes the most sense, instead of doing the last one. So, and I'll probably make it so you can't drop your default spells. Maybe, I'm not sure. But, so if I do fireball, it used the first one. Fireball, fireball, fireball. So we can cast, oh wait, oh, the first one came back online when I tried to cast the 4th. And so the 4th one didn't get used because the first one was back. But if I go fireball, 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 I can't cast it a 5th time because all the others are on cooldown. And they each come back individually, or independently. For example, fireball, fireball. Okay, we'll see this one come back. And that one come back. And it works for all of them. It's fantastic. It's awesome. I had to change up a lot of the logic, but it's good now. That was part of that. Just a little page. Basically, there's an interface that the player can use. So the player, when you press C, because that's the best interact key, you press C. We do a little line trace. One, we can spawn it. So we'll go a little ways away from the player, and then we'll go up a bit. So if you look at the floor and then you go up, we can spawn this little guy. But to pick it up, because this one won't be used, for now we just have a distance of 3, or we'll do 300 now, because that's probably better. Really, 250 is probably best. I'll do 250. Excuse me. We check to see if we actually hit an actor, and if we did, we try and use this interface. Well, which one implements the interface? Right now, it's just the spell page. What does it do? We do a little debug to print to verify what's going on. 2, we make sure that the spell book of the player is valid. Because we're using it, we don't want to dereference a null pointer or a dangling reference. We don't want to use one to evaluate one. So, do that. We get the player's book, and then we add the spell to it. How do we do that? We literally just add another element to the end of the array, which is the spell book's visuals, or names. And then we also do that to the cooldown because we have a new spell to do. And maybe I could do, well, no, actually I don't, because there's no rep notify for adding specifically to this. And if I did, I could just make it so every time you add one, it adds one of these, but fuck it, it's fine. Because it's like we're not able to preserve the invariant well there, but it's fine, it's not bad. There was a bug with page interaction where you could pick up the page, but when you cast a spell, all of the pages would be on cooldown visually, but you could still, but the cooldown was working, but the visuals were not. So if I picked up an extra fireball, I cast the first one, and both of them are visually on cooldown, but I could cast it again because the second one isn't actually on cooldown until it is. Basically, the visuals weren't matching. I had to fix that by changing how the visual setup works. So instead of just taking the name and going to get the material, we pass in the index of where we're looking in the array, because that's the spell page we're actually looking at, and that index is where the cooldown is stored. So we have to look at that specific index. We don't look at the name now, because if there are 2 copies of the name in the array, well, if I just do a find to find where this, where the name that we're currently on is, Well, it's going to be in the array twice, and it's always going to find the first one, so it's never going to be correct. So we have to pass the index to say, hey, don't just search for the value, because you're going to find it. It's going to be there. It's going to be in there twice, but if you do find, it's only going to find the earliest one. Instead, actually, just do the index. Use the index instead, and then we get the name. I could just do the index, and then it'll get the name from this. Doesn't really matter. This probably makes more sense. Instead of this, I'm just not going to use the name. I'm just going to pass the index. Because if the index is too big, then we're not going to do it anyway, so it's fine. And then I'll just get the name, get ref of the index. That way we get the name like this. That gives us the row of the data table, sick. And then I can just remove the extras. Oh, I guess I don't even need this debug printing anymore. Cool. Okay, what else? Oh. Oh, we should be using the index instead anyways. So I think that was connected twice, but we don't need that anymore. Passing current page, and that's page 2, and then the final one, same thing here. Don't need that either. Those were really similar. What's the difference here? Oh. So one of these is updating page 2 for cooldown. And it doesn't even need to be a function, honestly. It could just be called. And then this is pretty similar too. Oh, and that, I'm pretty sure those don't actually matter. Because I was thinking that earlier with the rep notify, if the value doesn't change, the rep notify, the onRep function isn't called when you update the value, but it was already, the value was definitely changing. I was just making sure to initialize it with a specific value to guarantee that it was changing, even though I already knew that it was. So, sick. I fucking hate how it's defaulting to hearing my voice. Okay. Do a bunch of pages. Now we can go and check fireball, 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 fireball. And that used the first one because it was already back. So 6 or 7 copies is probably the point where you can just cast them infinitely. Depends on the cooldown of this, depends on the spell obviously, but like fireball, freeze, magic missile, fireball, magic missile, oh, fireball, 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 fireball. Oh, it wasn't back yet. Okay. Magic missile didn't cast there because I said fireball too soon after, and it was waiting for me to stop speaking before casting because it gets the whole phrase, not just one word, which is good. Yeah, so that works. And then I added a sound, and I destroy the page after you pick it up. So once you pick it up, we play a sound. I had to make a custom attenuation. I was doing the same attenuation as when you flip the pages, but that's really tiny because it should just be for you and someone who's really close, because you have to be pretty close to someone to hear if they're flipping a page on a book. But picking it up off the floor, I wanted it to be a little bit wider because, something like that. So, because the sound as you're reaching down to the floor, that's where the sound is initiating. It's not from the person, it's you picking it up off the floor. And then we destroyed the visuals, but we have to wait for the sound to finish. I could just go to the audio and then do on sound finished, or on audio finished rather, but sometimes that bugs out for replication because if the actor isn't always relevant, well, the relevant distance is distance from the host of the game, actually. It's not distance from you to the object, it's distance from the object to the, or it's like distance between the object and the player, kind of. So if you're far from the player, but you're close to an object, even if the culling distance is huge and it should be fully replicated for you, it won't be if you're too far. I have to manually say what things I want, and I think I do it for all the spells, maybe, to be replicated like that. So that's it. Yeah, we can add extra pages to the book now. I already have a little thing that I'm gonna start doing, which will be remove spell. And now, I haven't even called this yet. What are we even doing? Oh yeah, so when you remove the spell, I want to find the latest version. I don't want you to just fuck with your book. So I want the book by default is static. But if you pick up another fireball page, you can go and drop that page and it'll go and find the last version and then drop it. Or maybe I just have it set to drop literally that page. Because now yeah, I mean, I guess I could just do that. Then you stack it up, you go and find a bunch of, I don't know. I'm not actually sure. I gotta think more about this because I made this initially and then I had to go and actually make it so you could add the spell. I just figured add, remove. Oh shit, now I actually have to do the add. So now I have to do the remove because now I can make a crate or other things and make it so that they randomly choose a spell from the data table and then they spawn a page like that. Well, there's an interact now, so you can go and pick up the page. Sick. But you also need to be able to drop it. And we also need that drop functionality so that when you die, we reset the book to be the default and then have you drop all the pages that you've collected. Because these are extra pages. You can't drop your initial pages. So I guess that's what I'll do. Yeah. Something like that. Okay. All right. That's it.